Meu nome é Ada Matias
My name is
Ribeiro.
Ada Matias Ribeiro. I'm 58 years old and I'm a business owner. Many years ago, we lived on the beach and I had my very small child. My baby, the youngest one, was 3 years old, was very young as well. And we were living a very difficult financial situation.
To the point that we were living by the beach in a high standard flat. However, we could not pay the water bill, the electricity bill, about to be evicted.
And for me, this was the bottom of the pit, that we didn't have anything. And one night, I went to the balcony of our apartment. We lived on the 8th floor. And when I arrived on the balcony, I heard a voice asking me to jump from above. But I looked below and a voice said to me, "Don't jump." And I said to God like this, if God exists, I want to know you because I can't take it anymore. And in that moment, He gave me a peace, a great peace. I felt a great peace. I slept. And God responded to me in that minute that everything will be okay. And in that time, I wasn't in the presence of God. I didn't have an encounter with God. I didn't know God. This God, no. We even went to another church, an evangelical church, and there I started to read the Bible. And in reading the Bible, I read about the Holy Spirit. And when I read that in the Bible, I went to the pastor of that church where I was, and I said, "Pastor, I want the Holy Spirit." And he looked at me and said, if you believe in the baptism in the Holy Spirit, then look for a church that believes, because we don't believe. And another thing was that he didn't let us get baptized. I wanted, but he said because we are not yet married on paper in the church, then we couldn't get baptized. And then one day, I took the Bible and I said like this, where is this church that believes in the Holy Spirit, that believes in the baptism of the Holy Spirit? I said, show me. And that's how I arrived in the Universal Church. The prayer that was being done was for me. Everything was for me.
It was like entering heaven. I said, my God, I found myself here. And that was when it started our walk of faith.
And so I asked if we could get baptized, and we were authorized, and they asked if we were going to sort out our marriage situation. And I said yes. And so we felt accepted because after 3 months, both of us were baptized with the Holy Spirit on the same day, in the same meeting, in the same time. And this was a glorious moment because I left there and it's like you want to speak about God to everyone in front of you. You want to pass what you've received to them.
It was a new outlook in life, a new thought. God entered in us. The Holy Spirit came into us and gave us direction.
And then we built our business, continued our journey of faith. And then what I call my baptism of fire came. We were in a campaign of Israel. And in that campaign of Israel, for me, I'll never forget because God didn't speak to me. I said like this, my God, what do you want from me in this campaign? And he didn't respond. And so I called my husband and I said like this to him, we already know the way of the altar. We are not going to be left out. We are not going to be left behind. I said to him, I don't know what's going to come, but one thing I know, that we need to be on the altar. And then on the 8th, Michael left and said like this, Mom, midnight I'm going to be back home. And usually when he says this, he usually fulfills it. But then when midnight came, Michael wasn't there. And then my husband looked at me and said, "My love, it's midnight." And then I said to him, "Send a message to him. He will respond. He always fulfills the time. But everything is okay because, he's with our family and everybody knows him there." And then he responded with his sister's phone saying, "Mom, Dad, everything is fine. I'm fine." And he even sent a picture to us half an hour before he sent a picture. And I said, "Okay, he's fine. Everything is okay." And then half an hour after this conversation with him, a message came on my phone. "Auntie, Michael is dead." I received the message this way. And then my youngest daughter, Mika, came into our room with her phone in her hand saying, Dad, look at this. Michael is all hurt." Some boys took a photo of the scene of the accident and posted on a group chat, and she was on this group chat. In that moment that I received the news, I went on my knees. I anointed myself and I said like this, "Lord, if you allow this, then I don't want to feel pain." And the way that I am today, that's how I was. The same way.
I didn't see her sad. On the contrary, she stood up and her facial expression was so calm. Her facial expression showed that everything was under control. That came into me. And we went to the place where the accident happened, and she remained that way.
When the police officers noticed that I was the mom, they made a barrier so that we don't come close. And then I looked at them and said like this, "Do you have children?" "Well, that's mine there." And so they opened the barrier, and then we went to where Michael was. And my husband said like this, "Son, everything will be okay." And then I said like this, "Love, his soul is not here anymore." And there again, I prayed. I said, "Lord, the only thing I want to know now is where's the soul of my son? If it's with the Lord, then I want the same joy like when I received the Holy Spirit." And this came immediately. It was something that I couldn't forget, because I couldn't forget that day, because God looks after everything. He looks after everything, every detail. And then my oldest daughter came because we were all in the campaign of Israel. And they were wondering, how are we going to bury Michael? Because there's no plan B. And then I said, God will provide. God is in control of everything. At the scene, God started to work. At the scene of the accident, someone came and asked for my bank account details from my daughter. He said, "I want to give a present to Michael." And that was how Michael was buried. And when he was, there were more than 600 youths in the burial place. When the pastors came, they called the youths. There were many who were desperate. And today I see it like this. Everybody was crying except me. My daughter said like this, "Mom, from where did you get this strength?" And I said, the Holy Spirit that is here. And there were many people who were saying, "Oh, she doesn't have a heart. Why is she not crying? Why is she smiling?" Because they look at my face and I was smiling. And then when the pastor came, I was like, "Pastor, look how many souls you can speak about Jesus to. Look how many youths." I don't have depression. For someone who didn't take her life when she had financial problems, what is the loss of a son? If I didn't have the Holy Spirit, for sure, I would not be strong. I would not remain. But my smile is because I know who I serve. And where my son is, that's where I want to go. And this is our objective.
The Holy Spirit, He was supporting us the whole time. The whole time He was with us. And today I say, if we didn't have the Holy Spirit, I say with all the assurance that it would be hard for us to go through this moment. It would be impossible for us to go through this moment if we didn't have the Holy Spirit.
Never did I ask God why. I didn't ask this question. I'd never questioned God. Because from the moment I had an encounter with Him, my life changed. My inside changed. Because it was from the inside out, not the outside in. And so, if I have peace, it's because it comes from the inside. Soon after that, as I'm an assistant, I'm now able to help mothers that also lost. And that's the answer of why I lost. I have what to pass on to them. How to help that mother. It's not that those that have the Holy Spirit do not feel or do not suffer, but with me, that's how God worked. I can say that my prayer was like Elijah's prayer. It was fast. It was not even 30 seconds. And God took care of me. And He does until today. We remained because God has taken care of us.